Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pen Hut. I'm just doing a quick video today where we are going to compare the Pilot Metropolitan and the Lamy Safari. Basically, how do they differ and how do you choose? You know, there's a lot of people that are getting into fountain pens, and these are the two names that really pop up everywhere. It's like, hey, you got to try these. So we're just going to go over them really quickly. So this is the, oh, actually, you know what? I never noticed that it says Japan right there on both sides, actually. Very interesting. I didn't see that before. Cool. So it says that there, right? So this is a metal body here. It does say Pilot Japan right there in the back. This is plastic. This is, it's like a matte finish. You can kind of tell it's got that texture, which I really like. So this one is plastic, this one is metal. All right, so let's start with the Pilot. So with the Pilot here, you'll see that they have that cigar shape. So pretty much all of them are going to be like that. This one is from one of their collections. It has kind of like the snake skin pattern. So interesting collection that they had. And this color, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like an off silver. Anyways, so this has that that metal clip there, which is nice. It's nice and solid, so it's definitely going to be able to stay intact. This is a push off cap or snap cap or whatever you want to call it. They gotta push it right off there, right? So then you do that, and you have the nib over here, which is nice. The little Pilot nib, just stainless steel. You know, nothing super fancy. One thing to note with the nibs on these is that they're going to be narrower or thinner lines than the Safari over here. Those are German brand. This is Japanese brand. Generally speaking, Japanese brand nibs are a little bit thinner when you write with them, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. These are pretty stiff nibs. You're not going to get really any flex or nothing when you're writing with them, but that's fine. And generally speaking, they're very smooth. A lot of people do enjoy the Pilot nibs. Even if they're stainless steel, they're still very smooth. This one here, I think is a medium. Can't see only because I just rinsed it and there's a bunch of little water spots right there. Pretty sure it's a medium, but it writes very fine. All right, so then you have the section here, which is this really hard plastic here, which is comfortable, and it does have that little, you know, I don't know, raised part, I guess, on the front there, so your finger doesn't slip too far to the end, which is nice. And then you have the part here where the cap goes on, and that little section there, and it's a step up to the back of the barrel there. So that's nice. You know, this is a very traditional style and look for a fountain pen. Primarily Japanese companies do that. They're very subtle, very clean lines, you know, just very nice and maybe even retro looking, which is fine. And then you have, you know, the back of it's that nice little round edge there. So I'm going to open this one up. I don't think I have anything in here, but let's take a look. Maybe I do have a cartridge. Yeah, so this one has a cartridge that's basically empty that came with it. Pilot cartridge there. One thing to note on that is you do have to use the Pilot proprietary cartridge. I believe, I'm pretty sure. But most often than not, once you get these, you also want to get the converter, which I think my other one came with, because I don't recall buying a converter separate. So if you can, buy one that has the converter, because then you can just, you know, suck up ink from an ink bottle, and that's probably a lot easier for most of us. But yeah, so it's really nice, really simple. There's nothing too fancy or elegant about it. The one thing that Pilot does do, since this is on the lower price range, somewhere in the $15 range, and this is a brand that you can find at Staples, let's see what else, Target, places like that. Just very common, you know, since they do carry a lot of other Pilot pens. Usually if they carry fountain pens, this is going to be one of the ones that's there. They do have a few different collections. They have this one, which is kind of like the animal one. They have a retro pop, then they have the standard colors. And then I know they have a bunch of other ones, but they're all going to look like this with slight different variations to them. And yeah, so that's good. And the nibs on these are swappable, but unfortunately you can't buy the nibs separately. Or at least not in the normal sense. I'm sure you could find somebody who's like, hey, I want to sell you my nib, but you can't find these on Amazon or anywhere else. So what a lot of people like to do is they'll buy multiple of these with different nib sizes, and then they'll take them out, you know, knowing you have to know how to do that, but take them out and you can switch them around. So all Pilot Metropolitans and some of the other ones that are, you know, under the $80 price range are going to be able to share the same nibs, which is nice. So given that this is so inexpensive, I highly recommend, instead of trying to figure out how to do this or that with getting a second nib, just buy 2 of them or buy 3 of them and maybe try a couple different sizes, maybe like a fine and a medium. Start there, and then you can decide what nib size you prefer. So that's that. Sorry about that. Next time I should have some water or something over here. All right, this one is nice as well. A lot of people like these. You can see that it says Lamy right there. And these ones are cool because they're plastic. They're basically made from the same material as Legos. So you'll see that they're very, very, very durable. So these are very nice. They're definitely, actually, you know what? I'm going to put it over here next to this thing here. I think I hear my dog walking around. So it's a little bit taller. Oops, let me move that back. So it's a little bit taller, just a little bit. Now this one has a very, very long clip, which seems a little bit, I guess, modern and maybe not child friendly, but it just seems like a little different. So you'll usually know a Safari just by the clip. This one happens to be black, but the majority of them are going to be just a stainless steel color. Like I said, this is a special edition one. So when you buy it brand new, you'll see this little brown piece right there in between. That means that there is an ink cartridge in here, which is, you know, right there. But that is stopping it from being punctured and filling up your pen. So what you would do is you would take that little piece out and then just turn this to push it all the way into the cap, and it would break the seal and it would fill it up and you're ready to go. So it's very, very easy to set up. You just take the thing off, screw it in all the way, and you're ready to write. The other cool thing with these guys is it has an ink window over here, which is really nice. So as you can see, this cartridge is pretty big. So this is also a proprietary. This is a Lamy proprietary cartridge. Let me grab it over here. It's a long one. They do make a international cartridge, a short as well. So if you have one of the smaller pens of a different brand, I'm so sorry, I just confused everybody. I was going to say that they do make, Lamy makes their own, but there is another type which is called a international size, which a lot of other manufacturers will use and share, which is nice. So when you find something proprietary, sometimes it's kind of annoying because then you got to go find the specific one to fit here. Anyways, with the international ones, they do have a large size, a small size. They do have converters and everything else that fits that way. But be aware that for Lamy, you do have to use their own proprietary cartridges. Most people, once they start getting into pens and they realize that they do like this pen a lot, or they want to use these pens a ton, they'll just go out and buy a converter, and then you don't have to worry about any of this stuff, because then you can just ink it with whatever you want. But anyways, going back to this one, it's flat on both ends. It's nice. It's not very heavy. I would say between the two, I would say this one's just a smidge heavier. I didn't weigh them, but if I recall from looking at videos, this is somewhere around, I'd say about 20 grams, if not a little bit less. But let's just say 20, and this would probably be like 23. So it's not much of a difference. The other thing that I like about this is I'm going to take it out here. Oops, I just pulled that whole thing off. This is also a pull-off cap. So you just pull it right out. The other cool thing about this one is, I don't know if you can see there, it's kind of like a triangle shaped. That's supposed to actually help you with your grip on holding it. To me, this is really light, so you probably do want to post it, and it posts very, very well. The other pen posts really well as well. And some people don't like that it's grooved that way, so you have to put your fingers in a certain way. But you'll notice on this one that going from here to the section and then to the barrel, there really is not much of a little jump there. So for me, this is a lot more comfortable. You don't have to worry about putting your fingers on the section or squeezing something, because this section actually is also even longer than on the other pen over there. So this one to me is more comfortable. I know for some people they prefer the other one because of the weight and they prefer metal. I like lightweight pens, so think about that definitely when you're shopping for pens. Do you want something a little bit heavier, or do you want to make it light so it's more comfortable, or you want it bigger or smaller, or in the materials too? This is very, very comfortable with especially with the matte finish. It's very, very comfortable. So I like that. So like I said, with the nibs on these ones, these you can buy different nibs, and they are swappable via the different models. And then even the Lamy 2000, that's on a much higher price range, has a gold tip. They're basically the same shape, but it's going to have some gold in it, of course. But these are nice. These also write very nice for something in this price range. This would be more in the $25 price range, somewhere like that. Might be able to get it less somewhere else, but it's probably a good $5 to $10 more than the Metropolitan. But they're still they still compete for the same market share. Now, lastly, the last thing that I want to mention about this, sorry about that. The last thing I want to mention about this is that these come in a ton of different colors. They come out with different special editions every year. There is a aluminum version of this pen as well, which is called the All-Star, which is really, really nice as well. And that's metallic. I don't think I have any right here, but it'd be a metallic finish. It'll be a little shiny, which is also really nice. And then they made a couple luxe editions as well, which are a little fancier. And then they also have a demonstrator version of this pen that's basically see-through. So they made a lot of options for people with this one. So any color that you like, they probably have it, or they had it at some point. Special editions are definitely going to cost a little bit more. They're going to be harder to find. Some of special editions obviously just run for a temporary time, and then they're gone, and then you got to pay a lot more to get them. But it's fun, you know. Usually they come up with a pen, and then they'll come with an ink to match for the special edition version, and they're usually very fun. You know, I remember there was a bright orange, there was a aquamarine color, there was a turquoise. There've been a bunch of different ones, a bright green that they had at one point. So I would say if you're collecting, if you're a collector, or you really have a favorite color, more often than not, you're going to find it in this pen here. And like I said, it's plastic, it's super comfortable, very lightweight. You have the ink window, so you can keep an eye on, you know, what you're doing in there. And you have the option of going to metal if you really want to. And the All-Stars, they cost a little bit more, but that gives you a ton of options that way. And then you can kind of see if you like this style. But there are some people that are going to prefer the cigar shape, something a little bit more substantial. Something metal, it's a little harder, and then this has finer writing, versus this one would be a little bit broader. But yeah, they're both fantastic options. Definitely check them out. I can't say which one is best. This one is less expensive, so if you're starting out, maybe get that one. Maybe get a couple of these, try them out. No harm, no foul. Or maybe get one of these if you like it, then get the aluminum, or get another color that you really like, or try some of the other pens. But yeah, these are fantastic. Let me know below which ones you have, what you would recommend as the better option between these two. And what you think is the better pen and what you're using. Thank you.